Did you miss me? I guess not! I love that line from The Mask. Did you really miss me, Toledo? I know I missed you. I missed you so much. We got a lot to get into today. We got to recap what we're seeing in the NBA Finals. Got to preview tonight's big games in the major leagues and also the doubleheader at Fifth Third Field tonight. Also got to recap what happened last night on the ice. But the big story of the day is what happened in Detroit. It's going to be an interesting show. Get the popcorn ready. We're going to be on the air with you here live on All Andy Alfred right here, presented on Clay Fan 2, 3. Kick it up with the crazy ones, because I'm a crazy one. Oh, it is the Stellar Revival with the crazy ones. After all, that is the entrance music to the Columbus Blue Jackets. But big moves today up north in Detroit. The new coach has been announced. But first and foremost, before I forget to say this, I love you guys and welcome to Andy Alfred. Right here on your exclusive home for me, Clay Fan 23, a production of Clay Fan 23 here in the Man Cave Studios. We got all the garb up as well too. I hope you enjoy this program today. Subscribe to Clay Fan 23. We're going to be doing these shows back again. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. We're on the air. And we'll be on the air with you after 5:30. Doing these shows live, recapping and previewing what is coming up in the world of sports. Of course, today we'll preview the NBA Final Game 3 tonight in Cleveland. All in Cleveland, as the series is tied at 1 game apiece. We'll also preview the Mud Hen game tonight between the Mud Hens and the Syracuse Chiefs. A double dip at Fifth Third Field starting at 5:30 this evening. Yours truly will be there to watch it. Of course, we'll also recap also what happened last night in Major League Baseball and talk about the MLB draft. It is going on as we speak right now, as well as we'll recap the NHL Finals going on right now between the Chicago Blackhawks and the Tampa Bay Lightning. Very interesting matchup with that one as well too. And we'll also talk a little bit about what's going to happen tonight in Major League Baseball. But first and foremost, let's talk about the Walleye. What a season they had this year. We haven't been on the air since the elimination against South Carolina. A terrific season, 50-15 this season, getting the Brabham Cup in the East Coast Hockey League. Congratulations to them. I didn't really buy into this team this year because with the new coaching regime and new organization restructuring, I thought that this was going to take a year or two before we get some progress. And of course, that was wrong. Totally wrong. Because it's our fish, our fight. Walleye proved me wrong. And becoming the into the Eastern Conference Finals in Derek Lalonde's first season. And in my opinion, the only season with the Toledo Walleye. As you're aware, today the Detroit Red Wings announced that Jeff Bilesman will be named head coach of the Detroit Red Wings. He was announced this morning at 11 a.m. with Ken Holland. He is extremely excited to be with the Detroit Red Wings. He's excited to get his chance to prove that he was not an assistant coach under the Babcock regime back a few years ago. He is now in the helm. He is in the mothership home of hockey in downtown Detroit. And it'll be interesting. It will be interesting to see how he's going to react. But I want to get into this. Helen St. James of the Detroit Free Press wrote a piece yesterday regarding the Bilesman hiring will shake up the Red Wing organization. And this is from her article. She wrote, this was predated to the interview before the announcement today. So I'll read this. With Bilesman getting the Detroit job, the Griffins will now need a new bench coach. Wings management will hold interviews this week, but the leading candidate is Derek Lalonde, who has been guiding the Detroit Red Wings ECHL team, the Toledo Walleye. The ECHL is a tier lower than the AHL. He is the leading candidate for this. I'll give you another one. The Detroit Star reporting in as well too. This is Mike Ross writing in. He's saying that Lalonde, a head candidate for the Grand Rapids job. So this means this. With Jeff getting the position, that means Lalonde's gone. That means Lalonde is going to Grand Rapids, in my opinion. And there's a lot of sources from the Walleye, too. Inside sources that I can't disclose. And I'm not Jordan Strack and retweeting anything. I'm not going to be like Jordan Strack's Twitter people and make statements like that. I'm not going to do that. I have reliable sources within the organization that tell me Lalonde is going. And those reliable sources are also telling me one of two things. Dan Watson's going to be the new coach of the Toledo Walleye. It's a guarantee. The associate head coaching position will be Dan Watson. And you want to guess who the assistant coach will be for Watson? Hashtag fire Nick Vitucci. That's right, fans. Nick Vitucci could be behind the bench again for the Walleye. We take 2 steps forward, we get right back to where we were before. And if Watson gets the position, oh God, you're taking 6 steps back. You go find another USHL coach that is strong enough, like Lalonde was. Bring him in, be good and golden. And with that too, with Lalonde going, you kick Watson out. You kick Vitucci out. You bring in your own regime. Because after all, Vitucci is a piece of dirt. Let me repeat. Don't get me wrong. His scouting was perfect this year. But behind the bench, 2 playoff appearances in 8 seasons. It's pathetic. The team should be, and look at the first year coach. First year. Comes in, takes the team all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. You mean to tell me that if Nick Vitucci goes behind the bench and coaches this team yet again, you're going to get the same results? Absolutely hell to the no, not. It's pathetic. Just pathetic if he gets behind the bench. Napoli should have his handprint on that. And tell him, no, saw the attendance go up. this year, again, you saw how many people showed up for the last playoff game, a Game 7. It's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Some notes on Mr. Jeff Belsom. He was American Hockey League coach for the Grand Rapids Griffins. His record with Grand Rapids. His record altogether. He was in 2012-2013 when he took over the position in Grand Rapids, won the Calder Cup 42-26-8. 46-23-0 and 7. He has a winning record. A total winning record. Get ready for this. 9, 10, 11. He has only lost 76 games. And his winning record, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm saying this too. 12, 14, 12, 132, and 76. The Red Wings have got a good guy, which makes it interesting. Also, they made a point in the presser today up in Detroit that they're going to be in the playoffs for the 25th season in a row. It'll be 25 consecutive years in the playoffs. I don't think so. I do not think so. Because one team, one new captain of a team, hashtag CBJ, hashtag we are the fifth line. The Blue Jackets announcing their captain last time we spoke, and I was on the fence debating about who the captain would be. And I said it could have been Johansson, it could have been Dubinsky, certainly could have been Hartnell. Veteran leadership. But Nick Foligno, what he does for the community, what he's done on the ice, and stepped up, perfect. Bar none, perfect idea. Perfect idea. Good choice for the Jackets to go with Nick Foligno as the captain of the team. And it's gonna be a good move. Now, I want to get into this with Dan Watson. Go back into this really quick. Now, Vitusi left the organization. You know how many wins he had left in the organization? 15. The end of the season with 21 wins. Watson had 6 wins of the 44 losses that they had last year. They finished dead last in the North. And now this year, with Derek alone, they went 15, 5, and 2 with 107 points. That is the best record in all of the Toledo Walleye history, in Toledo hockey history, since the 74-75 Toledo Gold Digger team. Very, very good club that they had. But here's the thing. And I want to get into this too about Jordan Strack. I haven't been on the air with you guys since forever. So, at the end of Game 7, when the Walleye was officially eliminated, they announced, I found out earlier in the day that it was going to be Kyle Rogers and Cody Lampo's last 2 games, because they were both going to be on the move. I didn't know that Tyler Barnes was going to be retiring at the end of the season. We did know Kyle Rogers was going to retire at the end of the season, and I did know offhand that Lampo was going to move. But that scum at WTOL, Jordan Strack, tweeted it out, and then I retweeted it. I put it on my Facebook, and he says, you must have been reading my Twitter account. No, I heard it within my reliable source. Like, I'm hearing the reliable source is telling me that Lalonde's leaving, and Watson could be the new head coach of the Toledo Walleye. So do not challenge me. Do not ever challenge me on that part. And that's where I'm going to leave it like that, right there. That's where I'm going to leave it right there. My producer over here is just saying, you're going, digging a hole for myself. Yes, I'm digging a hole for myself. But the Walleye, of course, this year had a great season, and I want to commend them for that. and they had a great year. But the East Coast League is still going on. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that in just a little bit. But let's talk about the NHL Finals. Now, boy, oh boy, Ben Bishop is injured as ever. I thought it was a bathroom problem in Game 2. Game 3 proved me that I think he's got some hamstring problems. Having a hard time getting up out of the butterfly position. I think Bishop is injured, but his team last night proved me wrong. It's Tampa Bay getting a 3-2 victory over the Chicago Blackhawks in Game 3 in Chicago, going into the United Center and beating the Blackhawks, who is a dominant team at the United Center. Who's a dominant team in the United Center. And beating them 3-2. It's interesting. It's interesting to see how they're gonna react here for Game 4 tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on NBCSN and on CBC. And by the way, the benefit of having, I've talked to people outside of the Northwest Ohio area, and we're blessed here in the Northwest Ohio area. If you have Buckeye Cable System, you have CBC. And Hockey Night in Canada is one of the top tier NHL programs. Forget NBCSN. Forget NBC. They don't give you the hockey coverage that CBC does. CBC gives you the in-depth analysis and coverage that you, the hockey fan, love. That you will love. Jim Houston, Craig Simpson, great broadcasters. Love their calls. And I just don't get the point. I don't get the point of why listening to Doc Emmerich, these guys, come on, all the time. Honestly. It doesn't make a point. It just doesn't. So if you're lucky to have CBC, watch it. If you gotta listen to NBCSN and all that garbage, well, good luck to you. Mike Milbury is just a waste. Just a waste. Is it October yet? I'm just ready for the Blue Jacket season to get started. Is it June? Is it late June yet for the NHL draft? Because that's when the new season begins for me. That's when the new season begins for me. So tomorrow, Game 4, Tampa leading the series 2-1. 8 o'clock puck drop, NBCSN, preferably on CBC. And you get Don Cherry, the coach's corner, Ron McClain, George Stravonopoulos, Nick Kyprios, Elliot Freeman, all NHL news goes through Elliot Freeman. One of the best NHL insiders you could ever have. Forget the pro hockey talk. Forget anything else. All news goes through Elliot Freeman. Elliot Freeman. Just telling you that. Just telling you that. ECHL playoffs. Since the Walleye were eliminated, South Carolina moved on in triple overtime after beating the Walleye 1-0 in Game 7, and now they're playing the Allen Americans in the Kelly Cup Finals. The Allen Americans from the old CHL. And the series is tied at 2 games apiece, going to South Carolina tonight. Game time for that, 7 o'clock. You can watch that on ECHL TV. Very, very interesting matchup for them as well, too. Going into some of the storylines for that game, Jeff Jakaitis has set an ECHL postseason record with 1,526 minutes played. Allen Americans' Gary Shelf is tied for second with 12 goals in the East Coast Hockey League playoffs. South Carolina's Wade Simpson leads the playoffs with 36 points, 12 goals, and 24 assists. Looking at the series right now, South Carolina won Game 1 4-3, losing Game 2 to Allen 5-2. When South Carolina in Game 3 winning it 4-1, but Allen winning in double overtime in Game 4 on Sunday, 3-2. Game 5 tonight, 7:05 drop. It will be necessary for a Game 6 in South Carolina on Wednesday. And then here's the kicker. If this series does go 3-3 to Game 7, it's back in Allen on Sunday at 4:05 Central Time at 7 o'clock our time for the East Coast Final. So, looking at it, I mean, in Toledo, let's talk about, and they had a great season. They were down 3-0 to South Carolina, rallying back to tie, force the Game 7 and lose it in Game 7. Great season for them. Great season for them. But like I said, are we going to take 2 steps forward or 2 steps back? We'll find out here momentarily as you're watching All Andy Alfred right here on ClayFan23. I am your host, Andy Alfred. Hey, if you have a comment or a question for the show, tweet the show. It is at All Andy Alfred on Twitter, at All Andy Alfred. Also, you can reach me on Facebook. It is facebook.com/Andy.Alfred as well, too. And your comments will be right on there if you want so badly. Or you can post a comment underneath this show as well, too, as we're taping this show here today at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. All right, let's talk a little bit about Major League Baseball. And boy, oh boy, aren't we getting into some draft picks and action tonight. Day 2 is happening in the MLB draft. We'll talk a little bit about that as soon as we get some. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that tomorrow once the draft is all done. We'll recap all the draft picks, but the big one for me right now is Brady Aiken, the first overall pick last year, who opted out of the draft last year, signed with the Cleveland Indians yesterday as a conditional pick. First round pick. Unbelievable. This kid's got a good arm. Very good arm. It'll be a good prospect to watch at Akron. Build his arm up. Start in single A and go all the way up. But let's talk about what happened last night on the diamond. A light schedule in the major leagues yesterday. Some games of interest for us. The Reds were winners 6-4 with the Philadelphia Phillies. Leake getting the win. He goes to 3-4 with a 4.29 ERA. Hamels gets a loss. He goes to 5-5 with a 3.19 ERA. Chapman gets his save 11th of the season. Cozart and De Jesus homered for the Redlegs. In the American League Central, Kansas City a 3-1 victor over the Minnesota Twins. Vargas getting the win. He's now 5-2 with a 4.10 ERA. Hughes with the loss. He goes to 4-6 with a 4.81 ERA. Now tonight, we get back into action. The Chicago Cubs of the North Side come all the way up past I-80 to get to 75 to come up to Comerica Park to take on the Detroit Tigers. It will be John Lester on the hill for the Cubbies. He is 4-4 with a 3.86 ERA. Anibal Sanchez for the Detroit Tigers, who is 3-7 with a 5.69 ERA. 7:08 start time on Fox Sports Detroit. The Tribe also home tonight. It will be their ace, Corey Kluber, on the hill. 3-6 with a 3.61 ERA as he'll take on the Seattle Mariners. Ellis on the hill for Seattle, who is 2-3 with a 2.94 ERA. 7:10 start time on Fox Sports Time. The Red Lakes will take on the Philadelphia Phillies. It's Harang versus DeScafani. For that one, that's a 7:10 start time. Here's an interesting one. The Nationals taking on the New York Yankees. It is Max Scherzer on the hill, 6-4 with a 1.85 ERA. He'll take on Masahiro Tanaka, 3-1 with a 2.76 ERA. That is your pitching good matchup tonight, besides the Tiger matchup between Lester and Sanchez. Other notable games: LA, the Angels taking on Tampa Bay. San Diego's in Atlanta. The Mets are taking on the Giants. Houston is on the road. They'll take on the White Sox on the south side. Of course, Kansas City taking on Minnesota. St. Louis at Colorado. Texas is in Oakland. And the Dodgers are hosting the Arizona Diamondbacks. Also have 1-2. Milwaukee taking on the Pittsburgh Pirates. looking at the standings in the American League Central, and boy, do we have to climb the mountain for us Detroit Tiger fans and Cleveland Indian fans. The Indians and Tigers are fighting to get back into first place. Kansas City is 32-23, first place in the American League Central. Minnesota right behind them at 33-24, a half a percentage point behind. Detroit is in third place. They're 30-28, 3.5 games out of first place, and 1 game out of the wild card position. The Indians are 27-29, 5.5 games out of first place, 3 games out of a wild card position. They're 6-4 in their last 10. Detroit 2-8 in their last 10 because of the bad losing streak the Tigers have been on. But now, since the beating against Chicago and taking that series 2-3, I feel that the Tigers are starting to get on the roll. Same with the Indians. The Indians' rotation is starting to gel. And it's going to be interesting to see how this Indian team is going to prove to us that they're going to win the American League Central. And this is the time to do it for them. Kluber's starting to get warm. The rest of the rotation has to step up. And timely hitting is key for them. Timely hitting is key for them. I mean, looking at their batting averages. Looking at their averages right now. Okay. Here's the key thing for them. I mean, after all, you need hitting. You need solid defense as well too in baseball to go 2 ways. 2 straight ways to do it. Looking at it right now, Sands is batting at .377. Here's some honorable names for you right here. All right, here we go. Looking at it, Jason Kipnis is batting at .338. Murphy batting at .328. Ryan Rayburn batting at .310. Here's some of the worst. Yan Gomes. Yan Gomes right now, .203. Perez, 185. Chisenhall, who's now been called up, is now batting will be batting a .209 going back to the show. Swishalicious is batting a .213. They just need to get going. They really need to get going this season. If the Indians want to take a chance, they need to get going. And this is the time for them to do it. This is clearly the time for them to do it. And for them, for Detroit, they just need to get going. Period. If last year was the fluke, I mean, last year was almost a fluke. I mean, looking at the stats for the Tigers so far this year, you ready for this, fans? I don't think you are. Because Detroit is struggling. They are really struggling. Cannot get anything going. Andrew Romine batting at .342. Iglesias, .331. Miggy batting at .320. Great production for him. Here's one for you. Avila out for the injury. Dixon Machado from the Mud Hens, who was called up, was batting a .143. Now he's back down. Castellanos is batting a .229. That's almost his weight. Brian Holiday batting a .250. Solid. Martinez is batting a .258. Kinsler, .258. James McCann, .272. Cespedes is batting a .300. The hitting is there. The pitching has to work. The pitching has to work. I'll say it again. The pitching has to work. And that's what's struggling for them. Looking at their rotation, they're struggling. They're absolutely struggling. I mean, Buck Farmer, his time up in Detroit, he was pitching with the 12.60 earned run average. But Price, 2.70 ERA. Alfredo Simon, 2.76 ERA. Kyle Opstein, 4.34. Anibal Sanchez, 5.39. But the key thing is of this, after what we saw Saturday in Toledo with the Mud Hens and Justin Verlander, I think Verlander is ready to go. He'll probably start on Friday against the Indians. And that's a pivotal series. That is a very pivotal series. Because that could set the tone for who's going to make the move to dethrone Kansas City and Minnesota. Just going to say that. Throw that out there on the line for you, the fans. If you're watching All Andy Alfred right here, presented by carrythefifthline.tumblr.com, a production of ClayFan23. I'm your host, Andy Alfred, coming to you from the Man Cave Studios in East Toledo, Ohio, as we're coming up here on the top of the hour here. And getting ready to finish up the program. We got 3 more topics to talk about. Of course, let's talk about Mud Hens. It's going to be a long summer in Toledo. A very long summer in Toledo. If you're a Mud Hen fan. Are you ready? You ready for it? I know I'm going to be. Might as well take a lunch with me. It's going to be a long summer. The Mud Hens are struggling. They're absolutely horrible. Cannot get anything going. Last night, a rain out. I was there. I waited. Watched the Women's World Cup. Which, by the way, I'll get into that too. Talk about that really quickly. But rain out. Doubleheader today. Starting at 5:30. It'll be Belfort on the hill. 2-7 with a 6.59 ERA. McGregor on the hill for Syracuse. And Syracuse has lost 14 of their last 15. They need to get some wins going. And I think they found the Mud Hens at the right time. I have a feeling 3 or 4. Split of the doubleheader today. I have a feeling it's going to be a split doubleheader today. 5:30 start time for the Game 1. Game 2 will have Derek Hankins, who is 1-1 with a 7 ERA, taking on Billings, who is 1-3 with a 3.81 ERA. Game 2, half an hour after Game 1. And then on Wednesday, it is Bowling Green State University night. It will be BGSU night. BGSU night here at the... We are BG. BGSU night at Fifth Third Field. It will be Melville on the hill. He's 2-5 with a 5.03 ERA, taking on Jordan, who is 1-2 with a 2.14 ERA. We are BG. BGSU night tomorrow night at Fifth Third Field. But the doubleheader is tonight. And let's look at some of the stats from the Mud Hens, since Monday is usually our day where we check the batting averages and stats for the Mud Hens. Let's take a look. I don't think you're going to like what I'm going to tell you. Straight up to your face. Xavier Avery batting at .297. Dixon Machado, .294. Liking what I'm hearing so far. Josh Wilson, .291. Manny Pena, .272. Corey Jones, .263. Wade Gaynor, .261. Fields, .261. Marte, .254. Steven Moya, .234. Tyler Collins, .248. Holiday, when he was with the club, .230. Here comes the worst. Jeff Vaney, .222. Jordan Leonardton, 216. He's not even hitting his weight. Miguel Gonzalez. 15 games played. Give him his due. 212. But here's my big one. Jason Curson. 20 games played. 171. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. He's absolutely horrible. Horrible. For those of you who want to know, Mike Hesman's batting at 231. Strikeout leaders for your Mud Hens. Daniel Fields with 60. Steven Moya 54. Nave Avery 45. 28 for Wilson. Hesman 41 strikeouts this year. Home run leader right now is Mike Hesman with 8. Marte with 7. Runs batted in for your Hens. The leader in the clubhouse for the Mud Hens is Jeffrey Marte with 33. Be interesting to see what happens with them. Like I said, it's going to be a long summer for the Mud Hens. A very, very long summer for the Mud Hens. Because looking at the standings, it doesn't get any prettier than this. In the IL West standings, the Mud Hens dead last in the IL West. 25 and 32, 10 games out of first place. The elimination number for them is 77 games. Louisville is 30 and 28, 5.5 games out of first. Columbus is in third place with the come from behind victory last night against Louisville. They're now 30 and 28. And Indianapolis leads the division. They're 36 and 23. Here's Syracuse. Syracuse is 18 and 39. They have not gotten to the 20-win plateau yet. They're 13 and a half games out of first place. If the Mud Hens want to get going, this is the team to do it. Do it! And then don't give me that. Don't give me that. Oh, well, the call-ups are hurting us. They're not calling anybody up yet. They're only going to call Verlander and Rondon up. Just saying. Just saying. Oh, let's talk a little bit about what's going to happen tonight. And the beautiful Quicken Loans Arena in downtown Cleveland, Ohio. All in CLE Cleveland. Are you ready for the NBA Finals tonight? 1 and goal, baby. 1 and goal as game number 3 at the Q tonight. 9 o'clock tip-off, 8:30 start time, pregame start time on ABC. It is truly going to be an interesting matchup tonight. Steph Curry, after getting cold cuts from the deli, will he step up and take control in Game 3? We'll soon find out. As these games go on tonight here at the Q. Will LeBron step up to the plate at home? LeBron step up to the plate tonight and be the key. We'll find out. We'll find out. And I just want to see what's going to happen tonight. Cleveland got their first ever NBA final victory on Sunday. Can they get a win at home? Just like the Columbus Blue Jackets 2 years ago, getting their first ever playoff victory in overtime. Can the Cavaliers do it at the Q tonight as the Cavs take on the Golden State Warriors? 9 o'clock tip on ABC. Finally, let's talk a little bit about what's happening in Canada right now. Of course, it is the FIFA Women's Cup, World Cup, and Team USA yesterday getting the win over Australia in their match. Got a chance to watch a little bit of that at Fifth Third Field. They had an impromptu event going on. Of course. There will be no action tomorrow in the World Cup. It's because apparently it's Wednesday. But Team Canada will play New Zealand on Thursday, and the China Republic will play the Netherlands. And as well on Thursday, it will be Germany versus Norway and Cote d'Ivoire versus Thailand. Now, yesterday, the Team USA getting the win over Australia, getting them 3 big points in the rankings. Their next matchup coming up, I think it's either Wednesday, I think it's Friday or Saturday off the top of my head. I don't know. I want to say it's Friday. We want to look this up really quick. But if you have a comment or a question regarding for the show, please feel free to tweet me. It is at all Andy Alfred. It is at all Andy Alfred. Also, you can reach me on this program by using the comment page underneath. If you have a comment or a question, post a comment and question. As U.S. beat Australia 3-1 yesterday, of course, and looking at their next matchup in women's soccer in Canada. By the way, good crowd on hand for Winnipeg to have. It's a good decision by FIFA to give Canada the World Cup, but the thing is, a lot of frustration is going on for them because they're playing on artificial turf, not on real grass. But the next matchup for Team USA will be June 12th, which I believe is today, with today being the night, that'll be on Friday. They'll play Sweden at 8 o'clock in Winnipeg. And then they will play on the 16th against Nigeria, 8 o'clock kickoff in Vancouver. So, all roads lead to Vancouver. Be interesting to see what happens in this Women's World Cup event. Japan getting a 1-0 victory yesterday over Sweden, over the Swiss, was key for them. And Team Canada just needs to step up as well, too. But Team USA, going to be a good game. I have some friends going to the final in Vancouver. I wish them safe travels to BC. That's going to wrap it up here for all Andy Alfred. I hope I get to see you down at the ballpark today. 5:30 first pitch between the Mud Hens and the Syracuse Chiefs game. One of the 2-game double dip tonight at Fifth Third Field. I hope I get to see you downtown tonight. If not, tune it on to BCSN starting at 5 o'clock for the pregame show. I hope you enjoyed this program today. And remember, we will be on the air tomorrow after 5:30 for another edition of All Andy Alfred. I hope you can join us at that time. But until then, I'm Andy Alfred. I hope you have a terrific rest of the day. Get outside and enjoy it. It's going to be a beautiful afternoon. It's going to be a great night for baseball in downtown Toledo. Get your tickets by calling 419-725-HENS or mudhens.com. Or like me, you have a ticket from last night, trade it in for tonight. Great night for baseball. Until then, until tomorrow, remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. And go Tigers! Go Tribe! Go Cavs! Let's go Jackets! We are the fifth line. But until then, I'm Andy Alfred. And go Hens! And most importantly, remember, I'm pulling for you. We're all in this together. The game of life. And to all the teams behind me, and the team that you root for at home as well. Victory is sweetest when you have tasted defeat. And we have tasted defeat many times. I'll talk to you again tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Love you guys. Love you, babe. Talk to you tomorrow for another edition of All Andy Alfred. Hey, sellers, take me out one more time, please. Because after all, I am the crazy one. Love you, Donnell. Talk to you tomorrow.